The books I chose are a variation of the Sleeping Beauty story. The first book is part of a collection by Blue Fairy Book and edited by Andrew Lane. The illustration is sketched in black and white. The age group of this book is 5 and up. An evil fairy cursed a child because her parents neglected to give the fairy an invite to the christening. The child would die at age 15 from pricking her finger on a spindle. The good fairy altered the curse, replacing it with a long sleep of 100 years. Although at age 15, the child's fate was set in the balance. She fell asleep along with everyone in the kingdom, and she was awakened by her true love, a prince who she married quickly. The book does not end with this story, but connects to another. Later, Sleeping Beauty and the children were taken to meet the prince's mother, who is secretly an ogress, and she plans to eat them while the prince is away. Her plans fail when the prince arrives unexpectedly. Ironically, the prince's mother, the ogress, dies instead. In another version, Sleeping Beauty written and illustrated by K.Y. Craft. This story setting is by the pond, and the queen receives information from a singing frog that she will have a daughter within a year. When Sleeping Beauty becomes 16 in this story, the effect of the curse causes her to sleep for 100 years. When her mother and father were away from the castle, she wanders to the top of the towers and finds the room where the old woman is spinning. Sleeping Beauty is called Aurora in this version. When the wheel began to turn, spectacular things began to happen, such as the wheel threw off a shower of glowing light in all directions. Aurora was under a spell. She touched the spindle with the prick finger. The old woman, who was the fairy, smiled and disappeared. Everyone fell asleep. Years later, when the awaited prince came to awaken the princess, the briars fell away so that he could enter the grounds. She is also known in this fairy tale as Briar Rose. Also, the clock struck in this version for the 100th year, and the spell was over. No kiss in this fairy tale. The princess woke up recognizing the prince from a dream, and they were married, living happily ever after. This story is more exciting and traditional. The illustrations are warm colors of brown, yellow, and blue and green. The style of the author has rhythm, as when reading the story is like singing a song. The next version is The Sleeping Beauty, retold from the Brothers Grimm and illustrated by Trina Sharp Hyman. This version of the fairy tale is American tone. If the frog informs the queen she will soon have a child, it's still part of the plot. All the events follow the Grimm's version closely, with the exception that the princess becomes dizzy and looks for a room to rest. When she opens the door, a toothless old woman is spinning the wheel. When Briar Rose tries the wheel in the version, she pricks her thumb, falls asleep on the bed in the room, and the sleep spread over the whole castle. After the 100 years, the king's son rescues her. The thorny bushes turns into flowers, allowing him to enter the castle. He instantly fell in love with her, and when he touched her, the spell was broken. They lived happily ever after. The illustrations are painted in bright blues, browns, yellows, and reds. The Sleeping Beauty, the classic fairy tale treasury, a collection of stories, is the last one. This story has the same setting and plot, but this time when the queen and king leaves the castle, the princess was pleased to be left alone, even with the warning from her mother. To behave herself, she explored the castle. She discovered a room near a window. She found an old woman inside spinning, so she asked to spin. She pricked her finger in this tale. She did not fall back, but felt sleepy, hearing the old woman laughing at her. She said, the sleep seemed to creep silently and softly through the castle. When the prince approached the briars, beautiful roses bloomed on its branches. He kissed her. She awakened with all the inhabitants in the castle, and they married the same day. The theme of these stories are good versus evil. Good always overcomes evil because there is justice. The briars keep the uninvited princes from Sleeping Beauty. The briars protect her from marrying the wrong prince. When her true love arrives, the briars turn to flowers, welcoming him to the castle. The setting is in an alternate world where frogs talk to people. The fantasy is reality based.